championship. Let's take it.
Yes, no, race. Yes, no, race.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show. I'm Dan Page alongside head football coach at Bethel College, A.B. Stokes. Bethel College getting set to play Bethany College this upcoming week for towards the end of the season already, as the Threshers round out their home schedule this last week and come up a little short on that one in a weather game that really influenced a lot of different things, and probably, some players are not exactly used to those elements. But Bethel does walk away with that one on the losing side of things, with 2 games left, with Bethany this week and Evangel coming up next week on the Threshers schedule. Coach, I know only maybe a couple individual performances that we could highlight, but overall it was just a really weird day of football and just a tough game to, play in, coach in, watch, wherever you want to look at it.
Yeah, it was one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. But at the end of the day, I try to walk away from games like that learning something, and being prepared for weather. You can say, because we going into the game, we saw the forecast just like everyone else early in the week. Is something that we look forward to and see, okay, what's it saying the weather's going to be like. Although it's Kansas, it can turn at the drop of a hat, but we anticipated it being cold and rainy and wet, and we had coaches doing things with wet footballs, but it was just something that we just couldn't really simulate. And it got away from us. And in games like that, I really stress to our players that in games like that, if a team gets up on you, it's hard for the team that's down to fight back. You're wet, you're cold, you're losing. You know what I mean? You feel as if you can't play the way that you want to play. Sometimes it's easy to just want to hit a reset button, and you've got to be mentally ready for that. So it's funny. I talked to some of these guys and was like, yeah, they're lucky it wasn't raining or something this week. Like at 3 a.m, we would have had a practice. At about 3 a.m, we'd have been out there, and I'd have put the score up on the scoreboard and be like, never again. Like, it's just some of that crazy football talk right there. But no, it's just you learn from it. And one thing is, I think going into that, man, really, really focusing more on the mental. And schematically, we feel we could have done some things to put ourselves in better positions on both sides of the ball. They did some good things to get us on both sides of the ball. But it's one of those things that you learn. And I told our guys, you got to take the crickets with the straights. You got to take the good with the bad. And when bad things happen, what people of lesser character do is that they do what's called BCD, right? Blame, complain, defend, right? And what people with high character and high morals do, they look themselves in the mirror and ask the hard question as to why, and answer the question as what they can do to not let it happen moving forward. And that's kind of the side that we're on, is, hey, we're going to stand up. And our guys have done, it's crazy, it's been an up and down season, but they've done enough to put themselves in a position to potentially go into the last game with something to play for. So we just look forward to moving forward and trying to play our best football here these last 2 games.
Certainly, yeah. It's definitely a life lesson in the game that you guys just played in. And no question, I think back in the day of when I played, I would have loved to play in that game because we didn't have the turf.
Yeah,
and it would have been a mud fest.
For sure.
And that's so rare these days to see. But that's also how you tear up a grass field these days.
Yes.
But first quarter was scoreless.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of defensive football on both sides. You guys were flying around making plays.
Yeah.
Assignment sound. We're moving the ball a little bit. Just came up a little bit short.
Yeah.
And I feel like ball position was so influential in that game because, other team taking over, first and goal at the 9-yard line multiple times.
Yeah. And I think, Coach Schultz, Coach Markham, they did a great job game planning for that. And again, like I say, man, the team that got up first, the other team's going to pin their ears back. It kind of, lights a fire. And on a cold day, fire is very important. You know what I mean? So, but, offensively too, and, a lot of people don't know this, DJ kind of got banged up that first drive. And so, with the way that they loaded the box and us not being able to throw the ball with the conditions, we kind of needed them to be an extra runner, and we couldn't do that anymore. We couldn't run them anymore. I don't know if you guys, if you go back and watch the film, you notice that we stopped running the ball with DJ, and that's because he got banged up, and we weren't going to be able to throw the ball. We just we still needed him semi in the game to we didn't know how bad it was, but we knew, okay, let's just get a couple of runs off, and we'll see. We'll test them out here and do those things. But we were if the game wouldn't have gotten postponed, we probably were gonna pull them late in that third, early in the fourth quarter, just because we knew he couldn't really run because he got banged up. I mean, when DJ was a threat early on, I mean, you saw we just march, and it was right before that fourth down stop that they had that we marched down into their territory. He got kind of banged up, and that's why it looked like that on that fourth down. I mean, he couldn't push off his ankle and things of that nature. But but he's a fighter, man. Just like all these guys, they're fighters. So. That also, obviously it didn't play that probably that big a deal with how the score got away from us. But, when one of your better offensive players isn't 100%, it definitely is an advantage to the opponent. Yeah,
it definitely is a test, and a lot of lessons learned from players and coaches for this past game.
No doubt.
And
for sure.
you can only grow from it and improve and get better, and I mean that's your only choice.
Yeah. And
really,
in fact, that growth, I told the guys at practice today, when a bad moment happens to you, you either grow from it or you shrink. And the problem is, I'll be real with you, man. Growing is hard. Growing is hard. It's easy to shrink down. It's easy to go to negative town. It's easy to do those things, and I'm not just talking about as a player, as a coach, as a player, as a spectator, as an announcer. Like it's easy to go to negative town. Like it's so hard, to stick in there and say, hey, this is what's happening, but it's not going to define me. It's not going to define my season. It's hard to do those things, and I tell these guys, I'm like, but once you get that down and you understand and you can do those things, I said, no one can defeat you. No one can defeat you, and that's what I tell them. So, and I know they get it. It is hard though. It's hard. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. But I told them, I say, hey man, literally that's how I live my life. That's how I live my life, and that's why you wonder how I get on here and I do these things every week, and regardless of the outcome, I'm still the same guy. We're gonna have a good time, and
sure.
That's because, man, you can't defeat me. You know what I mean? You can win a battle, but the war is far from over. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You can't defeat me. So.
Okay. I was gonna go with something along the lines with it, and there's always gonna be those weird days where things feel off.
Absolutely.
And you just have to roll with it, make the best. I mean, even in the professional world as well.
Yes, for
you
sure.
show up for work, and you get a bad drive-in or something like that, and it's good that your team is learning these things
for sure.
along the way. So, no question. Cade Miller had 11 tackles in the ball game. Tate Siebold had 7. and that kind of highlighted things. You guys did have a forced fumble as well. A lot of fumbles in the game, both sides.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was going to be a thing just because of the weather and all the elements, and slippery when wet, they say. But nonetheless, you guys come away. Yeah, what was kind of unfortunate about it as well is there were no senior night festivities whatsoever.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Everybody was just ready to move on from the situation, and I mean, there was not really a great scenario no matter what.
I think that, for me, that's one of the things that that gets me down the most is that those seniors, they didn't get a proper send off as far as being seniors and all that they've put into this program. I say proper in a traditional sense,
right?
But we do have something planned for them, and our administration, Tim, Stacy, Colin, they're awesome. We've already got together and decided on what we're going to do for the seniors, and we're going to do it as big as we can for them shortly after the season, in the form of a banquet and getting them their gifts, and hopefully streaming it for their families to watch and at least have a piece of that as a memory of them being honored by Bethel College for all that they've given into it, because that's really when they leave here. Yeah, they have, conference championship rings, cool memorabilia just came in, right?
Yeah.
They have that stuff, but man, it's the memories of everything that they've given to Bethel and that Bethel's given back in return, and senior day and senior nights. It's just one of those things that's supposed to be a part of that. So we want to make sure that we give them something back for everything that they've given to this college.
Yeah, certainly, and deservedly so. They put in so many hours and effort, and it doesn't matter. I mean, being a student and then being a football player is like working, school full time and working full time.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot on somebody, and
some of these guys have real jobs too.
Yep. So along with that, yeah. So it's I think it's a good life lesson, like we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
But certainly, you would want more from that in that situation. But nonetheless, going to move on. Some other scores from the conference and some games that really didn't look like they were impacted by weather, because there was just, if you looked at the radar for the game this last week, it was just all going through North Newton.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, it definitely seems so. Other games, Sterling defeats St. Mary 33-30 in Bissell Division play. That game was
Shout out Reggie Langford. Good job, brother.
Yeah, St. Mary's been in some games this year, and it's been interesting to see. That one was a bit of a shootout, 33-30. Also in Bissell Division action, Ottawa defeats Avila on the road. The Braves win 42-14, and Kansas Wesleyan defeats Tabor in Hillsboro 31-0. Kansas Wesleyan definitely playing really well right now, and they have probably the divisional championship this coming week.
Is it Ottawa?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
it'll be a pretty big game between those two teams. It's not official, but I mean, if you look at it and talk to some folks, I mean, you can definitely see how that one will be influential in deciding that division. In the Kessinger division, aside from your football game, Evangel wins in McPherson 17-7. Another kind of low-scoring game of sorts.
Yeah.
But McPherson held to 7 points. Evangel defense continuing to play very well. Southwestern wins at Bethany 50-19. And the Mound Builders bounced back after losing 2 divisional games to start divisional play. And they have a big matchup as well this coming week as they return home to face Evangel, which will be, I think we'll be watching that a little bit from afar. So, but nonetheless, just 2 weeks left of the regular season here in KCAC action, and the season's just flown by, Coach. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the second half of the show. But, I mean, to be where you guys are at, but there's still an opportunity to, have a winning season is something definitely for your upperclassmen to play for. Just there is a sense of, so many things that can still happen, with only one divisional loss. Who knows, crazy things could happen out there. But nonetheless, still a couple games left, and every game matters in this conference now.
Yes, it does, for sure. And, we sit up in the office and we look at every single scenario. And I think the craziest one was that there could be a 4-way tie.
No one wants to hear that.
And it's funny, I only laugh because, for the past, couple years or whatever, there's been kind of 3-way ties, and it's like, oh, let's go to divisions. First year of division.
Even more ties.
That's like worst case scenario, though.
Yeah.
That's like worst case scenario, but
probably not likely. But
no, it's not very likely. But I just thought it was hilarious. Like, wait a minute, there could literally be a 4-way tie.
It just gets a little muddy there.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Yeah.
I thought a 5-way. I was like, we thought we did a scenario where there would be a 5-way tie, but I think that was impossible because in order for that to happen, McPherson already played. It's almost Southwestern, right? They've already played.
Yes. So it's almost like you need more divisional games, to have an outlier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what the way it seems. But anyways, we're going to go to a break there on that note. But when we come back, we'll talk about the Threshers and the Bethany College Swedes. The Threshers going on the road to Lenzburg for their second to last game of the regular season when we come back on the Thresher Football Show.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Threshbees Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College Athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/Booster Club to become a member today.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head football coach at Bethel College, A.B. Stokes. Bethel College 5-4 on the season, getting set to take on the 1-8 Bethany College Swedes this week from Lenzburg and the Kessinger Family Stadium, as it was officially christened a few weeks back. And the Bethany coming into the year 1-8, their lone win early in the season in week 2 officially against Tabor, 28-17, but since then have not been as successful. In divisional play, they've lost to Evangel 34-11, lost to McPherson 28-0, and last week falling to Southwestern 50-19 at home. But they get the Threshers for Senior Day at 1 o'clock from Kessinger Family Stadium. You can watch it on the KCAC network. Alan Litton will have the call for the Swedes as they get set to take on the Bethel College Threshers this week. 1-8 on the season, but a new coach at the helm of things for Bethany. If you listen to him at the conference media day, you could definitely see that he had the right ambition, he had the right mentality. He knew how to bring guys in to buy into what they're doing. And yes, it's going to take some time for things to be really turning the way they want it to at Bethany. Yeah,
for sure. But they are going to be well coached, and I mean, nobody's really ran away in their games. They play good football, they're young. He's playing his guys. They got a couple of guys who may have played for previous coaches, but he's doing it with his guys, and they're young. They're definitely going to be a team that I think is going to be fighting for position in the division in the very near future. So.
Yeah, 0-3 in the division right now, but they've shown a lot of different players, personnel, looks, perhaps 3 different quarterbacks that they've played this year. Their listed starter on the 2D for this week is Dalton Whitworth, a freshman who played at Rock Creek High School just a few years, if not last year ago. But it's 2 touchdowns passing on the season for them, and but he has only played in 4 games. This will be the 5th game that he's played in. But other quarterbacks that they've shown are number 3, Landry Shields, and 7, Peyton Manfoley. And those guys have combined for about 9 touchdowns on the year. And nonetheless, the Swedes looking to do something. They've thrown for 1,700 yards as an offense this year, so they definitely want to do that. So looking at kind of the rushing things, they only have 6 rushing touchdowns on the year versus 11 passing. So they've been a little bit more successful with the pass, although they look like they've come out a little balanced when you look at the numbers.
Yeah, we definitely think they're more of a balanced team, a traditional, run the ball, throw the ball kind of team. But again, be well coached, and we're trying to focus on making sure that we know our assignments and that we're flying around.
And the running game for the Swedes, Zamarion Spencer, a running back, has 3 rushing touchdowns and 559 yards rushing. He's number 5 for Bethany. Josiah Hardrick, a senior, has 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's played in 8 games, number 25 for them. And a few different other guys have got touches, a lot of freshmen and 1 junior in there as well. Just kind of looking at them. In the receiving core, Michael Young, a freshman receiver with 524 yards and 5 touchdown catches. And then they have 4 other guys with at least 1 touchdown catch on the season. Definitely like to spread the wealth, as multiple guys above 200 yards receiving on the year. To talk about their offense. Looking at other things in special teams, they have a freshman kicker as well who's 2 for 4 from the field goal range this year. And they've shown a few different people kicking in that realm. And Zeke Mumford, their junior punter, has 11 punts inside the 20 this season. Before we switch things over to the defense. Defensively for the Swedes, Terry McCutcheon, a freshman linebacker, 54 tackles and 1 sack on the year. He has 6 tackles for loss. In tackles for loss, junior linebacker Julian Carpenter has 10 of those on the year and 45 tackles.
Yeah.
And they have good defensive back as well. And Connor Payomo, and he has 51 tackles on the season and 4 for loss. And David Sweetman, a freshman defensive lineman with 4 sacks on the year, as well as Calvin Jeans, a sophomore linebacker with 4 sacks on the season. Kind of look at the numbers of Bethany College Swedes. We talked about their offense a little bit. Defensively, what have you guys seen from them?
They play a lot of man and trust their DBs, and they want to bring pressure behind it. And I think that's just not necessarily a staple of Coach. Is it Grossman? Not a staple, but it's something that he's done a lot this year. So, we've been focusing on, some man beaters and things like that. But also, we've got to be, for us, we feel like we've got to be able to run the ball. So.
Yeah, no question. You guys will definitely have your own challenges in that realm, with DJ being banged up and just kind of deciding, okay, how do we put our best foot forward in this football game at the same time? So a lot of decisions for you guys. It's easier for teams when you guys have guys healthy to be like, look, we'll do what we do.
Yeah.
And, we know we see what they are. We see what they are. The faceless opponent and everything. But a lot of times when you've had a little bit, maybe I don't know. Adversity is kind of a strong word with that. But just when you have some changes made, it takes a while for things to click.
Right, and it's just all about putting these guys in the best position to be successful. So as the weeks going on here, we're practicing Ben Schmidt at quarterback. Obviously the two freshmen are getting reps as well, but right now it's looking like Ben Schmidt is probably going to start the game, And DJ will kind of be a game time-ish decision. We'll see how things are going, see how he's feeling on the sideline, things like that. But Ben Schmidt he's had a great couple of days of practice thus far, and man, he's doing a great job of getting the ball where it needs to be.
He's definitely eager to, make his mark on this season. I know he's kind of been, still learning some of the things from a scheme standpoint, and just, the multiple systems that he's been a part of that have been really pass happy and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do for your football team this week. A local kid played at Newton High a few years back, and I think he threw for 2,000 yards 1 or 2 seasons as an upperclassman. So nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see what he does with the Threshers this coming week. It is Bethany week on the road against the Swedes. The Threshers played there last year, and the year before it was here, and it was Bethel had a lot of rushing yards in that football game. I think Tucker Smith almost had 300 yards rushing in that one. So definitely something to remember. But last year's game was a little bit interesting as well because, at halftime it was
14-7.
Yeah, it was a close game. Yeah. And they had a great game plan against you guys.
They did.
It wasn't you guys necessarily shooting yourselves in the foot. It was just, they played well defensively. Yeah. And no doubt that, just because they may have a new head coach and things like that,
right?
They're gonna see they could be very well encouraged when they play you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely, if not for the simple fact that they beat a team that beat us, you know what I mean? That gives teams life. But so it's our job to go in and show them who we are, what kind of team they're gonna be playing on this day. You know what I mean? So, which I believe is a pretty dang good one. So
yes, sir. Yeah, you would know them.
I believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no question whatsoever. So again, it's Bethany and Bethel this week at 1 o'clock on the KCAC network. It is from Lindsborg, and you can watch it with their announcers. I do share pronunciations every week, so if you're frustrated, I apologize. It just happens. We try to do that as a collective effort to get everybody on the same page. But yeah, it's week to week. Let's just say that much. I had to apologize this last week to the Friends folks because I said a word that I wasn't going to say. They went to Evangel the week before, and man, talk about some guys that really didn't appreciate the offense. The uniqueness of their offense, and I was like, man, you can't do that kind of a thing. Yeah. So nonetheless, let's hope when Bethel goes there next week, it'll be better nonetheless. Yeah. So, but yes, Bethany and Bethel this week. I can't really remember the last time Bethany won in this series. Bethel's had a string of games. My first year here, it was a 7-7 game at halftime. Rudy Juarez had the lone touchdown for Bethel in the first half. And and it was like on the first or second drive or so. But the rest of the way, it was the Zach Esau show at that point. Yes. In the second half. He had a huge run, and that was
2018. They beat us.
2018, okay.
They beat us.
So it's 2019 and on. The Threshers have had the upper hand in the series against the Swedes.
I was thinking back. I know there was a loss in 2018 that I'm sure everybody who was a part of it, we remember it. And it was that because we were doing a bunch of good stuff, and then all of a sudden it kind of just fell apart on us, and we ended up coming away with a loss. I'll never forget that one. Yep. So. Yep. Thank you for bringing that back.
I know, bad dreams, right? Hey, I mean, I had my fair share of losses. I don't think it can get any worse than last week, Coach. I mean,
that one is it's an anomaly. So
there you go.
You know what I mean? Like that.
I understand that.
I'm serious. I literally, that's how I feel, and it isn't some kind of Jedi mind trick. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
I think it qualifies. Other games this week in the conference. Let's start in the Bissell division. Sterling goes to Kansas City to take on Avila. it'll be interesting to follow that game and see who gets the upper hand. Both teams kind of been, you never know what they're going to bring out over the course of the season. So Sterling at Avila, Tabor is at St. Mary. So two road trips for those schools, going up to Northeast Kansas to play some games. And then rounding out the Bissell Division, big one, Kansas Wesleyan at Ottawa. It'll be a very good game to watch. We'll follow it from afar, but both teams definitely fighting for that representation into the national playoffs from the Bissell Division.
Yeah.
And both are playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, despite the way they may have started the season, in some cases, definitely playing pretty well. So that'll be one to follow. Other games in the Kessinger Division, McPherson goes on the road to Wichita. They'll play actually at a Riverfront Stadium downtown at the baseball stadium for that football game, as the Bulldogs go on the road, and then they'll be on the road next week as well as Southwestern. But other games from the Kessinger Division, Evangel at Southwestern. Tough place to play, first and foremost.
It is.
Jinx
the cat, man. Come on, Jinx. I probably shouldn't be saying that. Hey, do you know that so Jinx the cat, they have a cat that lives in their gymnasium?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that till I went over there, and Coach Grider said, "Hey, you got to see the gymnasium." I'd never been inside of there.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
With the stone, the brick. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool in there.
Yeah, it's been I've followed some interesting Thresher basketball games.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to go watch when we play them. I'm gonna have to go watch a basketball game over there. Because I heard the sound just echoes off the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's been loud there. Yeah. If you think back to, I think it was 2020, before the COVID mess, the men's basketball team had a huge win there where they blocked a shot at the buzzer to win.
Oh, wow.
And Jalen Scott had that. But,
So I'm in there looking around, and Coach is like, "Hey, the cat roams around here." I'm thinking, it's close to Halloween. I'm thinking he's talking about some ghost cat or something like that. And then he's just like, I'm like, yeah, really? He's like, oh, there he is right there. I look, and I'm like, am I seeing a real cat? Like, is that a cat? Like, they like, yeah. And the AD there, he was just, or the guy who was helping, I don't know if it was the AD, but he was telling us, like he's like, it's all cool. Like, it's cool for everybody except for the administrators, because they got to feed them and take them to the bed and do all that stuff. But that was pretty cool. But anyway, Jinx.
The Mound Builders hosting the Valor this week in another game of unique team names. Evangel definitely wants to finish out the season on a strong note, with this week away and then senior day against you guys this next week. But Southwestern definitely has something that they're playing to prove. So at the point, they're still ranked,
and it's still this. I would say that it's very important, because even if they can't win the division, if they can win this game, they've got an at-large shot. You know what I mean? They've got an at-large shot. Because Evangel, I haven't looked at the rankings in a long time, but I'm assuming what are they ranked?
I think they're 10th now.
10th, so they're a top 10 team. So if you beat a top 10 team, that's gonna get you. That can get you up there.
Sure.
Especially with they took a couple of losses, and they can argue the fact that they weren't healthy. In those losses. So, So if they can get this done, I think it would be it'd be big for them as a program, and it wouldn't hurt us if we can handle business. They get that done, and then now you're going in looking for almost a true champion. But we would need one more. We need one more bad thing to happen. So, but
that's too many. Yeah. Nonetheless, but this week
you can tell I don't worry about this stuff at all.
Oh no. It's like you said, you're just a little bit stitious.
That's a little stitious.
But Bethel and Bethany it is if you ever watch a game on TV where they have the abbreviations of the teams, you can't do BC here. You can't do Beth. So you got to put Bethel or Bethany or something. I mean, you got to put the rest of it, but easier to fit on a score graphic. But at 1 o'clock from Lindsborg, and it'll be an interesting game for the Threshers on the road this week. Well, Coach, any final thoughts before we go into this week's game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I always in this thing, something really cool, and I want to shout out Kanan Wade and Grant Gotzi. We actually, I did with the help of my pastor, Landon Jordan, we baptized Kanan Wade and Grant Gotzi in the locker room this past Sunday. So that was real cool, and that's just, that's really, I said, I kind of made a joke that, we may have lost the game, but we won 2 souls. You know what I mean? And that was, I think that's really cool to see these guys, especially after something like that. It was already planned, but to still be up and ready and in good spirits to go ahead and, outwardly show that, they're Christian brothers. That definitely was something that I don't take lightly, and it just goes on with what I say every time. Like, I'm serious about this faith thing, love God, Jesus Christ, and definitely my family, which I'm about to go home and watch a movie, so if I run out of here, what's going on. Love my family, man, and definitely love this Bethel College and this football program, man. These guys, like no other, for everything that they give, man. So
absolutely.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I got a couple things, I guess, before we wrap it up. First off, Bethel volleyball. The way that when this airs is Saturday, and they are playing Oklahoma Wesleyan in a very big game, volleyball match.
They knocked off Ottawa. I was watching during the weather delay. I was watching. This is real. I'm a huge Bethel volleyball fan.
Oh yeah,
Coach Leaks. Oh man, I'm a huge fan. I'm excited about, I can't wait for the tournament. I know it's down in Hutch, right? Well, we'd host the game here.
No, we get a bye.
Oh, we get a bye, and then it's in Hutch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going.
But you'll be in Missouri.
Is it that Saturday?
It's Friday and Saturday. Yep. 10th and 11th.
I don't like that, Dan.
Neither do I.
That, man.
Neither do I.
Oh, man.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. If they make the national tournament.
Where's the national tournament?
There would be an opening round somewhere, and then if they get down further, it's in Sioux City, Iowa, I think. So.
Okay. Well, I have to think about. I have to see. That's further than Hutchinson.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was ready to take some bands. We're gonna show
opening
up
round.
And show out.
Who knows where the opening round will be at? I mean, it could be local. I don't know.
Yeah.
The way that it's been in recent years in different sports, you never know.
Yes.
So, but yes, we're going to be following that one at 1 o'clock. Bethel and Oklahoma Wesleyan playing, and if the Threshers win that, they get to share the conference championship.
That's awesome.
And talk about the heck of a turnaround.
Yes.
And Coach Leak has done it, and she'll say it's a big part of her team and her senior class and everything that kind of piles into that. But nonetheless, I mean, the worst they can do is second or third in the conference, which is huge because they finished 4th last year. You see growth again into this year. So nonetheless, that as well as just you were talking from a faith standpoint, and I just. I recently just kind of, been thinking about a few things, and, it doesn't matter what people have done to you, from a life standpoint. You always have to come at them with a forgiving nature and have the ability to witness in some way or form. And I just want to, it's a self-realization, and that we always have to try to put our best foot forward in what we do, and how we present ourselves, and regulating our emotions and things like that. So just reminder for that for folks out there, and nonetheless should be a great rest of the athletic year for Bethel College in this fall sports. Can't wait to see how it all unfolds. But this week, Bethany for the football team, and then the following week at Evangel. So for Coach A.B. Stokes this week, I'm Dan Page saying, roll on.